to start, please, everyone who's already joined our meeting, James, Yamin, and Celsi are our friends from LottieFiles, and that will be today. They're the ones who will be imparting this amazing workshop and teaching you how to create amazing things with LottieFiles in Figma. And so Anya is our friend from Calgary, and she will be assisting you in the chat. And if you have any questions or drop any comments, she will be helping responding any of your concerns. Without further ado, I would like to just give you the floor, James, Yamin, and Celsi. So you guys start with what you have prepared for us.
All right, so I'll take over the floor for just maybe less than 5 minutes just to introduce what LottieFiles is and what you'll learn today, and just introduce our trainers today. My name is James. I'm the Global Partnership Manager from Korea. I'm very thankful that Valeria is helping us to host this workshop to fellow Calgary designers. Is there any developers here? Sometimes we do get a developer in this call. So if there is any, awesome, welcome. So just to give you a little bit of introduction of what LottieFiles is, what we do and what you'll learn today. So as you all know, you guys are all here to learn how to create motion animation today, and motion has been powering everyday design. A lot of global companies been using motion animation in their apps and webs, and it's been getting popular. It is one of the most critical skills to have as a designer these days. So how is all this possible is because of the file format called Lottie. I don't know if any of you have heard of a file format Lottie. Lottie is a very high quality motion animation file format based on JSON vector file format. It's very, very small. It's as easily editable, and it's supported on all major platforms. So traditionally, a lot of designers would use GIF or MOV or MP4 formats to put motion animation, but those files can be very large, right? So compared to GIF and previous other file formats, JSON is a lot smaller, as you can see, compared to the GIF, and even .lottie is a lot more smaller than JSON. So this is a revolutionary file format that you can use to put motion animation on your projects. So just to give you a bit of an example, this is two animation in comparison. GIF and PNG can be quite large, as you can see, and the numbers are right there. Lottie is only 25 kilobytes, .lottie is only 5 KB. And as you can see, the animation quality is also very higher. So motion animation design has been used by a lot of global brands, and we have over 10 million designers, developers using LottieFiles. So we are getting quite popular, and there's been a lot of demand on people wanting to learn how to create motion animation, and that's why we are here today. So our goal is very simple. We want to enable motion, and we want to equip you with the design motion animation skills that you require to create motion animation from Figma. It's very, very easy. You'll be very surprised to learn how easy it is to create motion animation today. Our trainers are excellent in giving you that skill. So you'll learn those skills today, and we're just trying to unlock your superpower heroes, right? So we'll give you that skills that you need to know how to create, design, and implement motion animation. Simple as that. So traditionally, a lot of designers would use After Effects to create motion, right? And as we all know, After Effects can be quite heavy to use, and it's difficult to use, and there's a big hurdle to learn. But in Figma, it's super easy as just connecting frames. So what we'll focus on today is just how to create those animations within Figma. And it's going to last about a couple hours, so hang tight. We'll give you a bit of a break if you guys need a break in between. And just give you all the skills that you need to know how to make Lottie animations using Figma to Lottie. And what's good about it, about this certification workshop, is that you'll get certified at the end of the workshop if you complete the challenge that we assign you at the very end of the workshop. And we'll give you more details through the workshop. So these are the animations that's been created by our previous attendees, quite amazing, right? Like there are high quality animation created using Figma. All right, so we have LottieFiles education section, and we also have other certifications available for other designers who want to learn how to use our plugins using Webflow, Framer. So like if you're interested in getting those certification as well, check it out online. There are all less than 30 minutes that you can complete and get certified by LottieFiles. So yeah. If you have any questions, we do have a community email address that you can just send all your questions to, and we'll just get back to you as soon as we can. Any questions that you may have regarding our products, our community, our events, all are welcome. All right. So that's a bit of an introduction on our side. Are you guys all ready to start?
There is one question in the chat, if I might interrupt really quickly.
Sure.
So NJ is asking what's the difference between Lottie JSON and .lottie?
All right.
I'm
Yeah,
actually preparing. Yeah, yeah. So the question. Maybe James, I can just take over and just
yeah,
start
take
asking
over,
the
please.
question.
Take over.
All right. So the difference between Lottie JSON. So Lottie JSON is basically the normal file format that you actually have. So to give you an idea, that's the way that, I mean, of course, like James explained, it is a notebook-based file format which allows computers to understand, okay, this is the animation, how it should be the JSON-based file format. Lottie is a more compressed version. By compress, like I could maybe show you an example pretty quickly as well. What a Lottie is, so just give an idea what a Lottie does. Imagine you have multiple lines of code. Let's say you're going to Starbucks, right? And then you have multiple lines of code which says you're going to Starbucks at 9, Starbucks at 10, you're going to Starbucks at 11 p.m., right? So there'll be three different lines of code. In a way, how the file is compressed is it would actually check and see what are the common factors in that code line, and it would actually make it smaller. So instead of having three lines of code, it would have one line of code. So imagine if you have, like, for example, here on the left, you have what we call Lottie Web. As you can see, the loading time is much faster. It's much easier to actually do. So you had the file size is, because it's compressed, it's very small. You don't lose quality at all. And with the file size, there's so many things you can actually achieve. For example, one thing is, of course, you can add multiple animations to one single file. So all of this is being loaded with one single file. You don't need to do multiple files. And you can also do theming as well. And I was going to show you guys a little bit later as well, but since the question came up, so it's in short, it's a compressed file version, smaller. You can achieve so much more because it's smaller. Like you see, you get a little bit of interactivity as well. And yeah, in a nutshell, it's a smaller file. You can achieve so much more. And it's the new file format which is changing the world right now. All right. So coming back to the main thing, of course, the workshop today. Thanks,
Oh,
James. Yeah, James. Thanks for the introduction. So hi guys, my name is Yamin. I work with James. James is my boss sometimes. Sometimes I'm his boss. But
yeah, the
today
way around, guys. Sorry.
we're working today. We're working together today. So just before we start, right? And before I get you guys on to this entire workshop, I just want to go through the simple questions that we actually get at these workshops, and I just want to clear everything out pretty easily. So I think I did ask this question, like, what's the skill level required? Someone did say -1. Even if you have -1 today, Luis, if you know how to add a frame and if you know how to add a shape, you can be halfway there with this entire workshop. And those are the basic two skills required to do this entire workshop. And just by using just a few skills, like on with few tools about on Figma, you'll be able to complete this entire workshop with us. And I'll promise is this: anytime you guys have any questions, we know that a lot of people when they see motion design, they kind of get a little bit worried about the thing. Maybe it's not something that I can actually do. So if you have any questions during this entire workshop and if you like asking us anything, feel free to stop us. We'll stop. We'll answer your question and then we'll move on. All right. Second thing, what's the level of animation we expect? Well, the game just show you guys like a couple of animations which was done by our previous participants. But we are not doing animation workshop. We're doing a motion design workshop. So an animation could be as simple as this. Or if you guys want to go a little bit complicated, well, if you can even try some funky stuff like this. You can keep it a little bit simple. as well. And again, all these animations are Lottie animations were made using Figma. And if you want to make it, like if you have a lot of time, if you want to really get into this, you learn the basics, you want to impress the hell out of us, and create something like this as well. And we're not gonna stop you. All we're gonna judge is if you learn the basic foundations of LottieFiles of Figma, and if you learn how to create animations without any issues. And if you are able to just accomplish that, we will certify you. Because taking your skills and learning something today and taking it to the next level also does take time and practice. But as long as you are able to grasp the basics by the end of today's workshop, we're going to certify. Now, a lot of people also ask this question: how do I get certified at the end of the workshop? So, after at the end of the workshop, we will provide you with a final challenge. So all you have, and I'll go through it at the workshop as well. Basically, where you have to create a simple Lottie animation and provide us the Figma file. And also, if your animation does have issues, even after you submit, we'll reach out back to you. We'll see how we can fix the animation for you so you can actually learn. And of course, at the end of the challenge, you still get certified. Also, like if you have any questions, feel free to tag James, me, or Celsi. Um, I'm just going to add one more person here. We have Ken. So just feel free to tag us. This Figma file is where all of it's going to happen. And I will share with you guys this Figma file. So once you guys have access to this Figma file, just come in, hang out with us, and yeah, and we'll have fun today. All right, let me create this Figma file very quickly. All right, so here's the link to the Figma file. Don't worry, everyone will have access to it. Just feel free to come in and just hang out with us and just try using the file, and let's get started together. For anyone who is wondering where the Figma file is, I'm just putting in the chat, but let me just put the link here as well. All right, there you go. I'll wait for a couple of minutes so people can join in, and then let's get started. All right, I see like a lot of people joining in, and don't worry, this session is recorded. If you want to do the workshop right now, don't worry, this session is still recorded. You can go back, you can check it out, and even do the course. Do the workshop later as well and submit the final challenge. All right, so basics first. So I'll just go through the plugin itself. So if you go to plugins here, you go to plugins and widgets, you can actually search for Lottie Files. And there we go. And that's how you actually find the LottieFiles plugin. If you're not able to find the plugin, let me also share one more link here because we know that in some places they're not able to actually find a plugin. So you can also find a plugin here. There we go. Could I get in the chat? If you're not able to find the plugin, can you let me know in the chat pretty quickly? Or is everyone okay? Can I get some thumbs ups in the chat if you were able to open the plugin? All right, sweet. Okay, so just a few basics about the plugin. So the first thing is, of course, when we initially launched the plugin, it was about accessing the LottieFiles library. Like if you make animation After Effects or multiple other animation tools, you actually upload it to LottieFiles.com and you actually use it in your design projects. So the first thing that we actually have is the Discover panel, where you can get access to over 100,000. Was it three? James, was it 300,000 plus or 100,000 plus?
It's actually 500,000 plus,
Okay, fine. Okay,
including premium animation.
right. Including premium animations, you actually get access to 500,000 plus animations on our from our motion platform, which you can actually insert into your projects. Now, I'm not going to go through this today. This is not the main thing today. You can, if you already have like a private workspace, you can also access that as well. If you have workspace on lottifiles.com, if you don't want your animation to be on public, you can actually upload it to your private workspace and actually add that animation into your Figma prototypes as well. Now, keep in mind, this entire thing, the thing about our plugins is that it's connected to all of our plugins out there, whether it's Framer, Webflow, anything that is connected to the LottieFiles ecosystem, you can actually grab it from your workspace and add it to your files. Now, AI is a buzzword. We do have AI tools here as well. So the tools, I'm not gonna again go through this in great detail, but if you have an idea of an illustration that you want to add into your design and start animating, you can actually do that as well. Just type it in. You can actually put generate, and it will actually generate to you a vector file. You can actually take it up and you can start animating as well using our Figma plugin. The second thing is, of course, imagine those annoying clients. I mean, if anyone in the chat like has that client which sends you a vector file as a JPEG, you can actually put it in the chat as well. But if you get those clients, right, you can actually put it in here, add it to Figma plugin. Could someone share the Figma plugin again in the chat? Okay.
Yeah, I will.
All right. Maybe pin it in the chat if it's possible. But yeah, so coming back to this, so you can actually add a raster image and actually change it into an SVG. So imagine that, right? Just add any JPEG, any PNG file, or any raster image, and it will actually change it into a vector file. All right. And last thing, of course, if you want to add from a private library, if you don't have it even on LottieFiles.com, if you want to still use your Lottie animation in a prototype, you can also import it as a Lottie animation, and you can add it into your work file. And of course, today, this is the main thing, the main feast that we're going to be focusing on for the entire day. It's called Export to Lottie, where we are going to learn how you can actually animate using Lottie files for Figma. All right, is everybody able to access the plugin? Okay, a quick question. Anybody getting the loading animation of death? That's my first question. All right, everyone seems fine. I'm just going to move on then. All right, so basic first thing. So for us, we know as product designers, we really don't want to dab into complicated ways to animate. And a lot of people, a lot of times, what happens is that you have an illustration and you want to figure out like what's the best way to actually put some motion into a single illustration, right? So the basic way that we can actually start with our plugin is, let's say, for example, you have a frame and you have an idea of like a icon or maybe a shape that you want to add to your design. And of course, let's say you want to bring in some motion magic to this. Just gonna add this here, a little bit of a color to this one. All right, here we go. And now you have a single frame here, and then of course, like as product design or even as a designer, you you know that you want to bring some animation to this, but you don't know like where to start off, right? So we actually got you covered. So even with a single frame, you can just click the single frame with all the elements inside, and you can actually press export to log. And there you go. Animation done with just a single frame. And you can actually go here to settings, and you can even feel free to like grab all of this. You can actually grab everything here. You can go to settings, and you can even start playing around with all of our preset animation presets that we already have for the animation. So you can try multiple things, rotate, trim path as well. I'm going to show you a little quick trick a little bit later as well. And this works for anything. Like for example, let's say you want to do that heartbeat animation. That's in, I think there's a load animation on LinkedIn, which is pretty cool. With Lottie files for Figma, well, export to Lottie, and there we go. There's the duration, and you got your animation. Just letting you guys know, I forgot to talk about this as well. So there are some sections in the bottom. Just feel free to grab any of these sections and work with me today. If you guys really, really, really want to work here as well, feel free to do that. All right, and this works for anything, right? So if you have any illustration, let's see, let me see if I can grab an illustration too. So, all right, these are my private files. So let's see, I'm just gonna share some stuff that we did yesterday. If you don't mind. All right, maybe this cat we drew for James. All right. You can actually put this in here as well, even with a single frame. Let's say you already have it. Grab it, export to Lottie, and there you go. You can actually just use it. All right, remove this for now. But anyways, yeah. So you can actually do that as well. So that's not the only thing. Let's say you have some paths that you have actually used strong, like the hello here. Click the hello, and so we know that as a product designer or even as a designer, you're not going to go through a lot of complicated animation techniques to actually build this entire thing, right? To make the Apple Hello animation. So with something like this, if you have like a trim path done, you can just go to export to Lottie, go to trim path, and whoa, there you go. The Apple Hello, and you can actually play around with the duration as well, and you can actually make this with just a single frame. All right, I see a couple of people trying it out. All right, and even let's say you have a check mark, you can do the same thing as well. And there you go. Is it an image? No, so Alina, it's not actually an image. Right now, those are all vectors. So even in case of this, it's actually a vector file. So we just drew the eclipse. You have the outline, the stroke. Same thing here as well. Yeah. All right, so we good so far?
Yeah,
Thumbs up.
let's give about a couple minutes for people to try out
Sure.
different presets.
And folks, that's the end of the workshop. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm just kidding. We have a couple more.
Yeah, I encourage you to grab a section on the bottom instead of just playing around. You can, but it's better to do it on your own section, I think.
Let me just grab something here. And there are tons of stuff you can start, like anything you have, like illustrations. You can even combine raster with raster images like JPEGs. You can even do add that to the the frame as well with a lot of illustrations, like a lot of vectors. Mix it up and use the plugin as well. That's entirely supported. But I mean, yeah, can do a couple more stuff that there as well. Yeah. By that is, let's say I'm just gonna grab James's face here, screenshot. All right, there we go. So the plugin itself also supports raster images. Okay, let me reshare my screen. There we go. So the plugin itself also supports raster images as well. So let's say I just took a screenshot of James. Let me just put it in. James, I hope you don't mind. There we go.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. So and we're gonna go through, guys, like, so we're gonna go from single frames to okay, I'm gonna get back to that in a little bit. So you can even keep adding a couple of shapes in. All right, okay, grab the frame. Oh, it's not working. Oh wait, it's not working for single. Okay, that is weird. Does it work for multiple frames? Let me check this out. This is something new I'm discovering. To answer your question, should we select it, insert as if? Yes, it does work. All right, cool. This is gonna be our next step, but yeah, so you can even add the raster image as well. Export Lottie button is grayed out. So if it's grayed out, it most likely means that you have not selected a frame. Yeah. So if you select a frame and if you click export to Lottie, it should work. Fabian, so I just discovered that you can actually do a single frame animation with the raster images. But I will, if you don't mind, I'm going to use this as an example to do my next part, which is how to do from single frame to multiple frames. All right, I'm just going to continue to the next one. All right, thanks. All right, so we've done single frames now, right? And then of course in single frame, it depends on the preset to actually give you the solution to your animation, right? But what if you can actually break it? And let's say you want the animation to work in a certain way. This is where multiple frames can actually help you out. For example, let's say I'm just gonna copy this frame here. Maybe, okay, copy this, paste it. All right, so with a single frame, right, I'm able to export it as a Lottie. I can add a pulse, and of course I'm able to like slow it down. Right, there you go. But let's say I don't. Let's say my let's say as part of the brand, part of the entire product, I don't want it to appear in this manner. I want certain very exact things to happen from one frame to the other frame. And this is where multiple frames can actually come in. So, and again, just feel free to grab anything. And with multiple frames, you can actually do this. So now I have this circle here. And instead of it going, becoming small, becoming big, I actually don't want that to happen. I want it to move in another way. I want all the circles to separate, and then I want it to come back to this frame. So I can actually do that. I can write everything here. I mean, I can just put it in a frame on how I want it to animate, how I want it to move. Select all the frames and go to export to Lottie. And now it moves in the way that I actually want it. So you can, and again, a common question we get: how many frames can I add? Is it just 3 frames? No. You can even do 1,000 frames, 1,000 transitions, the way that you actually want the animation to move, and how you want the elements to be manipulated from one frame to the other. So you can keep adding this. Let's say halfway through, I'm like, no, I need this to move another way. Maybe I want it to be like this. And just move it around, and then there you go. And you can even, yeah, more frames, more. Thanks, James. All right, the plugin seems stuck on logo. Any ideas how to make work?
Mm.
So maybe someone, maybe Chelsea, you can probably help out. It could be a VPN or it could be a internet issue, but if it's not working for you, try to access it from the browser. Does the first frame and last frame need to be same to loop? Okay, so I'll go to the last one as well, but it doesn't have to be the same. Your animation might have a different way of ending. For me, I kind of like it when it loops because I want it to be a micro interaction, of course. So that's why I kind of keep the first frame, last frame the same. And don't worry, we have another step which would actually give you even more control rather than just a few frames. So coming back to Fabian's lovely raster image that we have here. All right, there we go. All right, so I see you, Fabian. So you can even add um, like even say let's say okay, I'm not very good with sunglasses, but let's see if I can do this. I can even add some eyes onto this and make the eyes glow. Right. You can even add raster images. You can even play around with the size and do a couple of stuff as well. And again, all of this is supported on our plugin. You can even do stuff like that as well. And remember again, this is something very simple. You can keep adding raster images. You can even play around with the size as well. And just to see, like, just to refresh, you don't need to again go back. Just click this refresh button and there you go. And yeah, so you're actually now able to go from a single frame into multiple frames. And again, feel free to try it out for the next 5-10 minutes. And yeah, and we'll take you to something even much more cooler than this. So basically, the idea is that so now you start with a single frame, and now since you don't like how it is giving you from the preset, how do you actually take the single frame and how do you actually put a lot more control to the file? I'll give you guys around 10 minutes to try it out, and then we'll move on to how you can add even more control to this entire thing using LottieFiles. And are there any questions? If you guys are, except the plugin stuck on the logo. Sergey, try to also use the browser as well. If you have any, if it's not working for you, don't worry. I'll DM you during the presentation when Chelsea takes over and then see I can fix it up for you. So what's the best way to export as GIF and a JSON file? So Manisha, that's something we are going to discuss later on as well. So at the end of after Chelsea's session, I'm going to do an entire handoff session as well. Like how do you actually hand off your animation made using right. I'm going to do a session where we can actually take the animation you made using Figma and how you can actually hand it off to your devs as well to be put on any production tool. Or like if you have experience with no-code tools like Framer or Webflow, also show you how you can actually take an animation and apply it on Framer and or Webflow. Yep. I'm actually in Chrome. James, Chelsea, can one of you help out Sergey?
Yeah.
All right, let me just check out what you guys are doing. All right. So just one thing before I move on to the next step. Can you show how you use the AI feature? I will show it to you at the end of the workshop if you have time, not before that. All right. So one thing to keep in mind while you actually animate using LottieFiles for Figma. So a common mistake, a common mistake that a lot of people make is that so think of it this way, right? You are manipulating elements from one frame to the other. And a common mistake a lot of people make is that they would add, let's say I'll add a circle here and I have two circles here now. And then suddenly on the second frame, they would add another circle here. So this won't actually work. I mean, it's not a good practice to actually have. And I'll tell you why. The reason why this doesn't work out is that so what how the plugin works is that it recognizes each element. As you can see here, the circle disappears, right? Because what's actually happening here is that how the plugin works is that it recognizes each element and then it sees what's the difference between the difference which has been done on each frame to each element. So a good practice is to always have to make sure that the elements are in each of the frames. So sometimes, like, what happens if you use something a little bit more complicated? What would happen is that the plugin would actually find an error as well because it's searching for all of the elements from the element names. So if you have 7019 if suddenly let's say 7019 disappears from this, right? And the plugin will keep on searching for 7019 for the entire 3 frames. So a good practice is always to make sure that to make sure all the elements are present in each of the frames, and B, to make sure that the names are also consistent in all of the frames. All right, I'm gonna move on. So, and again, like if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop in the chat. All right, so now let's actually take this and let's actually put in more control over these animations. All right, so right now, if I press export to Lottie, of course, thanks, James. So right now, if I go to export to Lottie, it is going from this to this and back to this. But I wanted to, I want this, I mean, I don't like the speed. I want it to appear at a certain speed. I want certain things to happen. And so with the plugin and with Figma Prototype, you can actually um, get even more further control between the transitions in each frame. And you can also get a lot more control on how different things appear in each frame. So, for example, let's say I'm just going to connect this. And so the entire plugin itself was built on the smart animate function. And I'll tell you why. Um, Funny story, back when we initially released the plugin, before we released the initial plugin, a common thing that we found from a lot of our Figma users was that they were using prototyping to create animations, and they were actually screen recording the entire thing. And back then, we had a tool called Video to Lottie, and they were actually putting the screen recording into Video to Lottie and actually creating Lottie animations. But of course, this is not, it doesn't give you the best results. And we talked to Figma and said, look, why don't we build something on top of Smart Animate function? So now what you can do is you can actually noodle it up, connect with a lot of noodles here, using the prototyping, and you can start playing around with how different things should transition from one frame to the other. Like for example, here, maybe I want a bit of a bounce, right? You can just put bounce. I put like 2000 here, and then let me also rename this file as bounce. And so if you want to play the file, just go to select prototype flow and select the prototype, and there you go. And again, like if I want to put in a little more control over this, I can just go here. Maybe I don't like how this is appearing. And if you like things like where the LottieFiles logo came from, it came from this. I can actually go here. I can just play around with the transition, like 1200, and there you go. And again, there's the right way for the transition. You can play around with multiple curves that are available. You can go to ease in, ease out. All of this are not supported by the LottieFiles plugin, so you can actually go in, select any of these stuff, and you can even you can start playing around with it and create your custom animations. One cool thing you can also do is, let's say if you want to delay um, this transition, you can just select. For example, let's say I want a bit of delay here. You can go here, and for the trigger, select the after delay function, and you can even play with the timeout, with the time, and now there's a bit of delay between both the transitions. And don't worry, that's not it. There is one more cool thing I want to show you before I go to the next step. I'm going to give you guys like 10-15 minutes to try it out. Feel free just to experiment out with it. And after this, I'll show you guys something even cooler than this. So again, the steps, if you go in, you can put a frame in. Okay, let's see if I can make a spinning start. There you go. Just gonna rotate this. And again, if you're wondering, like, if you're not a motion designer, and if you're wondering what different transitions can, or what's the effect different transitions can do, linear is just if I want to explain what linear looks like, this is what linear is. It means there is no slowdown, no at the end, or no slowdown at the start. Linear just means that it will just go from one point to the other without anything happening in the middle. And of course, ease in, ease out is again a little bit different. Ease in, if you want to check out how the curve looks like, this is how an ease in looks like. So basically, when it starts in, there's a bit of slowdown where it goes, bit of slowdown at the start before it goes really fast to the end. Ease out, similar thing, but the other way around. So if you want something to keep spinning, you keep it as linear. And let's just go here, go to 253. It's not there yet. All right. refresh, and there you go. Now you got a spinning star. And again, feel free to just experiment out with a couple of shapes. There is a lot of things you can keep doing. How it is rotating. All right, very simple. Let me explain. So it's a bit of a workaround to make it keep spinning over and over again. So right now, let's say I have this star, right? I can put the star in, and let me. So we tried working it for odd, odd edges, but right now, just for the sake of this, I'm just put an even number of edges. Just change the color. Maybe just do this blue. All right. So to make it spin, you can actually go here, go to rotate. So instead of going the whole full 180, just put 179, and yeah, and just connect it as a prototype. Go to linear, go back, maybe choose the prototype, which is 263. If you're not able to find the first prototype, just go back, go to export to Lottie, and just choose the prototype, and there you go. So step by step, choose the shape, choose how much you want it to rotate. If you want it to keep rotating, um, the idea is to keep like like 179. Even you can even choose 180, but I have this thing with our team where we keep choosing 179. If you wanted to rotate the forwards, just put minus 179, and there you go. If you want to play with the speed, proceed spin a little bit slow, just change the duration, and there we go. And again, so many things you can actually do. You can make it spin. You can even play around with the size as well. Like for example, you want it to appear in a certain way. For example, maybe you can even change the count a little bit, and it will do the entire transformation for you as well. Change the paths as well. And again, the as designers, we have a couple of ideas that we want to try it out. Just feel free to experiment out with it. There's a lot of more stuff you can even create. Again, it depends on like what you want to achieve. So many things you can actually do just by doing prototyping, adding some shapes, adding some vectors, and even playing around with it. So many things you can actually achieve just from playing around with this stuff as well. So let me just check out the work files as well. I see a couple of people. Okay, you guys are trying out. Okay, all right, you guys seem to have the hang of this entire tool. James, why did we need this? We could probably just send them all the certificate today. All right, we just go through the next step. Just before I hand off Celsi, let me just show you guys something. So as a motion designer, the main thing that we always used to keep getting after we release the tool is that how do I actually apply motion principles to this? And is it you can? I mean, the main question was, can I actually apply motion principles? This looks too simple, and the answer is yes. You can also apply motion principles to actually create very cool stuff with the plugin. I'll give you one motion principle example here, and then I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples below as well. So one main thing that if you go to any motion design class is that they're going to ask you to make a bouncing ball. Now listen very carefully. The main idea of a bouncing ball is that it goes from, let me just change the color here as well. So FYI, gradients are supported on our play. There we go. All right, I just imagine that this is a very nice. Let me see if I can put some nice colors to it. All right, just imagine that this is a ball, right? And as we know, for a ball, for it to bounce, it goes up, down, and of course it goes up again. Right. So if you connect all the frames, let me just go for ease out. From here, maybe just go for just put 300. Just put here 600. And now the normal way this would happen is, of course, the ball goes up and down, right? So this is the normal motion for a ball to bounce. Now, if this doesn't look that appealing, right? This looks very simple. It looks like the circle is just going from up, down, up, down. What you can also do is you can start adding motion principles to this entire thing. And how do you actually do that? Well, instead of just doing this, let me do this frame. Just copy this frame, and you can start manipulating the shapes to add those motion principles into the ball bouncing. So in this case, it goes up. Let me just put a little bit like this, and you can start manipulating the shapes a little bit. We know that when the ball when it comes to the ground, There's a little bit of movement up here, and you can start manipulating the shapes and add those motion principles into your animation. Now, for example, here, um, we know that when the ball goes up, there is a little bit of shape difference which happens when the ball goes up with the motion as well. And of course, when it comes down, there are some obviously the ball, the entire thing is like it kind of becomes thin and goes down. Of course, when it hits the ground on impact, like this as well. Linear. Of course, when it hits on impact, well, there is a little bit more there as well. And it kind of normalizes afterwards. See here, and of course, it goes back up again. So just for a note, please don't use dissolve. It would not. This is it. Whoever is using dissolve. Right. So if you refresh now, instead of ease, let me put linear. All right. So now you can actually see a ball bounce. Just play the timing a little bit. All right. So now you can actually add squish, which is a motion principle, which people use, and this is how you can actually add squish to your animation. And there's tons of principles out there you can actually apply, and you can actually try it out on your animation. Now, of course, if you want to make it a little bit more perfect, you can even add a shadow here. It's way to the back, and you can play around with the shadow as well. Say if it's coming near to the ground. And again, feel free to grab this. You can use it as a reference. If anybody is able to make a slime animation using this exact concept, one of those slime video game characters using this exact concept, before the end of the workshop, I will personally send you a LottieFiles GIF swag box, but that's for the first person who makes it. So you have to make it first, and you have to. All right, let me play this now. 274. Here we go. So now you can actually add those concepts. You can create something like this just by using a few frames. And now you have a nice bouncing ball using LottieFiles for Figma. And you can do multiple other animation principles out there as well. You can do even character animations of this entire thing. And Chelsea's going to show you a couple of other cool stuff as well. You can even add text animations using LottieFiles for Figma. You can do scaling, multiple other stuff as well. You can even do cool transitions as well. So, and then again, the entire thing is, if you don't like it, you can keep adding stuff to it as well. Let's say I want to add a little bit more character to my ball. Maybe I want to add a couple of eyes to it. I can do that as well. See, go here, add a couple of eyes. Maybe add, okay, maybe add eyes. All right. This will make the eyes move. Let's do this and add the eyes back again. And now you have a bouncy ball with some eyes. Do you have to copy and paste each frame versus? Yeah, I think, yeah. So that's Ken with my profile picture in the chat. I have no idea why Ken's doing this for Yak. So do you have to copy and paste each frame versus option click to duplicate? Doesn't make a difference. The only thing that you have to keep making sure is that every frame has all of the elements that you are trying to manipulate, and B, make sure that the naming for all of the elements in each of the frame remains consistent, because like I said, the plugin itself, it picks up those two things. It picks up what's in each of the frame, and it also picks up if the unique ID, which is the name, is the same. So that it understands what are the differences that it has to manipulate in each of the frame to actually get your animation rendered. All right, so for the swag box, once you're done, tag me. I'll go and I'll check it out. The best slime gets a gift swag box from my side, which James is going to personally send. All right. So again, before I hand over to Chelsea, there are multiple things you can do and try out. If just feel free, all of these animations were made for you guys for during this workshop. Feel free to grab them, experiment out with it, use it. Things you can actually create. You can even create like a loading animation like this, like a spinning loading animation. All of this available on our plugin just to create. If you can even try other types of loading animation as well, like if you can use cute shapes or do like a preloading animation. Toggle buttons were the main thing that a lot of us were like experimenting on. Interaction setting in prototype. I'm sure. Can you explain what do you mean by interaction setting? Right. Yeah. Well, I'm changing speed. So if you want to change speed, all right, good. So there is no like, so the difference between a single frame and a multiple frame is that, right, that's a good question. Right, so I'll break it down for. So let's say you have these three shapes on this, right? So with a single frame, since there's just one frame, we have a settings here, and then you can actually play with the settings, right? That's how it is. But if you are using prototypes, which of course you can add more control to this entire thing, the main thing to actually play with the speed, you can actually connect both frames. And on the nodal here, you can click the nodal here. You can actually change the duration here. Say you want it to move a little bit slow, but you want to have an ease in. Just put this final frame out. And again, this is a OCD thing for me. I love my animations to keep looping. So you can actually play around with this noodle here, and you can actually change this. Go back, Lottie, and there you go. Now again, if you want to make it a little bit fast, take the speed here. I will actually go pretty fast. All right. I hope that answers the question. Yes. So the reason why you don't see those settings in the Lottie window is because with prototyping, you're able to change the speed from each frame through this. The reason why we don't have it available is that on a single frame, you actually don't have the option. Again, this was built on top of the smart image function. So with a single frame, you actually have the ability to play with the duration because that option is not available on Figma. But in case of this, on the like I said, it's built on the prototyping, built on smart animate prototyping. So we allow you to change the duration here. Right. For the sake of time, I'm just gonna move it on for now. But I'll get back to you. Yeah, right, I'll get back to you a little bit later as well. And there are a couple of other things you can also create as well. Like for example, there's loading animations here. There's a couple like you can even create like walking Frankenstein monsters as well. You can add all these principles, and you can create tons and tons of stuff. You can even do splash screen animation as well. So put here, go back. You can even do stuff like this as well. And again, the entire motion design world opens up for you if you use this tool. If you know Figma, if you know what you want to create, tons of stuff out there. We support text as well. We can even add text and do this text animation as well. Do a lot of funky stuff, do a lot of funky buttons. And yeah. So just before I hand it out to Celsi, I think I already talked about this as well. So the plugin itself supports gradients. It also supports auto layout as well. So I'm not gonna go very deep into this, but if you have, let's say, like one of those, if you're doing like social media applications out there, and you need to make like a simple, like if they're sending like a message, and you kind of need to make those social media like animations, you can do that as well. So back here, click add auto layout, and you can just keep moving the shapes up, and just connect the prototype, and there you go. You can even use auto layout to create a couple of this stuff as well. All right, and that's it from my side. If you guys have any questions, feel free to tag me. The challenge is still ongoing for the slime challenge for the swag box. Just keep experimenting, like try multiple stuff, try multiple settings, try multiple durations, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed my part of it. I'm gonna hand it over to Celsi now. Celsi, are you ready?
Before we hand it over to Chelsea, can we give everybody about 2 minute break? Maybe someone wants to go to break, washroom, or
Yeah, sure.
perfect.
See you guys in 5 minutes.
So yeah, if you guys have any questions based on what you've learned so far, just leave it in the comment.
I think there are a couple of cool stuff that people are already creating. I was kind of checking out like what you guys were doing while I was explaining. I kind of got distracted as well. A couple of cats people are creating. I saw that someone's creating like ice Coke bottle. Like ping pong as well. Got some googly eyes here. I got people submitting for the swag box, but and again, it depends on how you it depends on like what you try and create. If you have an idea of where you want to start, and if you want to have an idea what's going to happen in the middle, if you have an idea of how it's going to end the entire animation.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we have a question in the chat. Kayla wants to learn how the linear setting works again for prototyping.
All right. Okay. Let me just make an example here. Not this. Put a stroke here. All right. So the main difference. Okay. Let's see the main difference, right, between linear and everything else. So if I move the square here, and if I prototype this, again, push doesn't work. Just let you guys know. Smart animate works. All right. And let's say I choose float 300 here. So I have right now on linear. As you can see, this goes from There's nothing extra happening. It's not even slowing down. So this is what linear works. If you want something to just continuously keep moving, that's when you use linear. But if I change this to ease in, you can see a difference. It start off slow and it ends up fast. So that's the difference. Now, if I use ease out, the difference would be okay. It starts fast, but it ends slow. So it slows down in the. And if I choose both ease in and ease out, it starts off slow. There's a bit of it becomes fast in the middle and it slows down at the end. So those are the main differences. Like if you want your animation to continuously move, let's say you want a square to keep rotating over and over and over again. That's when you use something like linear. But when you use ease in, ease out, that's when, like, if you want something to slow down when it starts off, or like a small smoother movement, that's when you start experimenting out with ease in, ease out, and multiple other things out there. You can even try bouncy as well, and you can probably get a different effect. But yeah, that's the main difference when it comes to the types of curves that you can actually use. And Figma makes it a little bit easy because all those curves are available as a preset when you actually create all this. This instant versus smart animate chain the output. So I'll give you an example for instant. So when we made this animation here below, we're actually using instant. And so, oh, wow, someone's actually playing out the speed. All right, let me check it out. What's going on? So to answer your question, Meher, so basically, this is a good example of how you can actually use instant. So for example, here, when I want this shape to change to this, again, all of the, as you can see, I have a lot of these shapes already inside the entire frame. So when I want it to change to this square here, I'm actually using instant. So how instant works is it tells the plugin, okay, instead of making a shift and change between the two frames, just immediately change all of the values between each frame. So in this case, the bounce happens, and from here, it just immediately, instead of doing any manipulation, just changes all of the values to this frame. And and you can probably use it for a lot of other stuff as well. Like I'll get back to you, Alina. So you can actually use that as a use case to actually build a couple of stuff in that way, so where you can actually use instant to change something from one to other. Yeah, let me find it. All right, let's see what's wrong with your animation before I hand off the cells. All right, this is the problem. So as you can see, like I said, it's a start. The main problem is that your layers are not consistent. As you can see on this frame here, inside here you have 3 vectors. But in case of here, you have 2 vector files here. So again, and this is kind of confusing the entire plugin, because in one frame you have a certain amount of layers, and in the next frame when you want the transition, it has a lesser number of layers. So just to give an idea of what is happening right now, and this is a good practice also for as well. So I'll call this layer 1. From technical sense, this is what's happening. So let's say you have layer 1, and here you have, let's say, layer 2, and you have layer 3. And this is all happening on frame 1. But on the second frame, oh, thanks, Chelsea. But on the second frame, let's say you're removing layer 3, right? And then so what happens is that the plugin itself is searching continuously for this extra layer that you have. And since it's not there, that's why you're getting that error message. I hope that makes sense. And it's a common, don't worry, it's a common thing a lot of people face when they're learning the tool. You're not the only one. Even we faced the entire problem as well that we were starting off. So getting an idea. So this frame has 3 vectors. This has no problem. Yep. So yeah, the problem is in this frame. Wait, no, it's in this. Yeah. So it has only 2 vector files here. All right, Chelsea, I'm just gonna hand over to you. I think everyone's like tired of me talking for a long time, so I'm just gonna hand over to you now. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to tag me, Ken, or James on the Figma board. We'll jump in. We'll help you guys out. If your stuff is not rendering as well, let us know. We'll jump in while Chelsea is doing her part as well. All right, Chelsea, off to you.
Thank you, Yamin. I hope everyone is not getting tired we still got like 2 parts, which is very, very exciting because we're gonna show more control, more features that you can use to create like amazing animation. Let me just share my screen. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. I think everyone is busy. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna cover about strokes and mask. So if you are -1 on Figma, don't worry at all because it's we're gonna make sure after this session you'll be able to do all of this. So what is masking? Usually, like when we are talking about masking, is that we have 2 different object on our screen, and then we want to crop this one object using the shape of the second object, right? So for instance, I want to mask this square with this circle. And how am I going to do it? If you're on Adobe Illustrator before, the way to mask is that the mask should be at the top layer, which is right there, like this. But on Figma, you have to bring this back. You can use the left bracket as a shortcut, or you can right click and then send to back here, over here. So these are the shortcut. If you like to remember the shortcut, but if you don't worry, just right click and then you can send to back. And what you need to do over here is that you just select both object and then right click again and then use it as mask. So in this way, you already have this rectangle masked by this circle. Until here, all good for the masking. That's like the very basic idea of how it masks. And then what we can do, or like what kind of animation that we can utilize these features. First, we can move the object that it's masked, and second, we can move the masking. So it really depends on your visual, and each visual will require different treatments. As Yamin said, just try it out. But I'm going to show you the first one, moving the object mask. And now we want to make something like this. Oh, actually, let me just show that. So yeah, we're going to make this wavy water animation, and we're going to use mask to create this animation. So if you go down here, okay, just be careful on your spaghetti. This is one of the very common thing that happen when you're collaborating with other people. You already have your prototype, or your friend or your colleague already have the prototype, and then someone copying it. Then you are still on the prototype setting. Then you will create a new prototype flow, which we don't want that to happen. So ensure that if you're copying a new frame, I think that was me. I was copying it from here, but then I still keep it in the prototype tab. So this is gonna happen, and I don't want that. I can just click on the arrow and then press delete. Then I will have my frame clean, not attached to any other frame. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we prepared this to wave path that you can copy and bring it to your board. I'll bring this down a little bit so that everyone can have enough space. Yeah, you can copy this and then copy the wave and then bring it down. Oops. All right, I'll give you 1 minute to try this out while you're trying that. You're copying that. 2, 4. We got so many numbers here. I'm just gonna change the name. Wavy. All right, cool. So yeah, this is the animation that we're gonna create. You only need 3 paths. Like the first one is a circle, and then the second one is the wave with the dark blue color, and then the other one is the same wave, like this exact same path, but with the lighter color of blue. Okay, all good and ready. What we need to do first, of course, we create the frame. It's the same like how we create the what Yamin explained in the prototype over here. So you will have your first frame, and then I want to put in the circle. I'm gonna use it as a mask, and then I'm gonna bring this dark blue design that will show. Yeah. What we want to do is that we want to move the wave from the dark blue from right to left, and then the light blue from left to right. So they're kind of going towards each other. And I'll copy the lighter blue as well, and then paste it. I'll put the dark blue at the front. So from right to left, and then this one from left to right. Okay, and what you can do is that you select all 3 objects and then right click and ensure that the circle is on the back. Right click and then click use as mask. Now you already have these 2 waves. mask by this circle. But I don't want the circle to show anything for the first frame. Don't worry, you can just bring it down. I usually like to use the X and Y when it comes to like outside of the mask, because sometimes it might accidentally bring your object back to the front. So we have that, and then I will add another circle. I don't want it to be masked, so I'll just click on the O, and then strokes. Use this color. I want it to be very light. And then after that, we're gonna gradually thicken the line of the circle. I'm just gonna check if my circle is actually aligned with the color of with the size of the mask. It is. Okay, and then I'll just copy and paste. Oops, sorry, this was not in the... And then what happened when you copy and paste? Sorry, that was not included previously. Yeah, and then you want to bring that wave. So if you can't find your layer over here because it's so many waves that overlapping, if you click on Command Y, like what happened right now, don't worry, go to the left to your tab, and then you will always find your vector. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna move the y-axis and then the x-axis far to the left. I'm gonna bring it up again. Same with this one. This is the lighter blue. I want to bring the y-axis up, and then bring the y-axis so that this move to the right. Okay, and then I also have this circle that I want to keep inside the masking, and I want to increase the size to 12. All right, so we're gonna have this line is gonna getting thicker, and then the wave is moving from right to left and then left to right. I did a bit of I click on the unseen button over here because I want to make sure that I see the previous light blue, how it moves. So now we already have this 2 frame. We just need to click on the prototype. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit slow, or maybe not so slow. 500. I would like it to be ease out, and then I'll call it aqua track number 2. Don't worry, sometimes when you are changing the name of the tag over here, it wouldn't reflect right away sometimes. So if you don't find it here, don't panic. If you don't find it on the prototype flow, don't panic, because just click anywhere and then search again on the select prototype flow. Okay, we have this one here. Now we already have the animation, but it's a little bit too fast. So maybe I want to change it to 1200, and then you can just refresh. Yeah. And for the circle as well, you can include it inside the masking or outside the masking. That doesn't matter. It really depends on how you want the visual to look like. And then the second one, is there any question? Oh yeah, it's Command Y. Is there any questions so far for this, for the masking? Maybe I'll give like 1 minute for everyone to try it out first. I call it spaghetti. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you guys call it.
I've been always calling it noodles because
You mean the actual spaghetti or noodles, or
so
the
when you string from frame to frame and you do prototyping, right? So a lot of people call it different names. I've been calling it noodle for the longest time, and someone else, yeah, I think a few weeks back, I met someone who was like calling it an entirely different name. They were calling it wires, and we kind of make sense because you wireframing prototypes, but Chelsea calls it spaghetti. Yeah.
Oh, there is like a very small tips and trick that usually happen. I'm just gonna copy this and then delete the prototype. A common mistake that we usually do, like we all done it, which is when we want to create a prototype, we tend to click on the object, like from here and to object, or like object to frame. So if you do it like this, our plugin wouldn't read it because it reads frame to frame, not object to frame or like frame to object. For instance, this is like frame to, if I going far, if this is frame to frame, but this is like object to frame. So this wouldn't work. So just keep that in mind, that your spaghetti, noodle, or wire need to connect from frame to frame. Yeah, that's a small tips that we sometimes overlooked, and then like your animation goes wobbly and weird. So that might be the case as well. Fabian said, I created a mess, but it looks great. Well, it all started with mess most of the time.
So I've been just giving you a little bit of a. So this is what happened with the tool. We made the tool for very simple stuff, but people like you mess around with it and they start making stuff that we couldn't even dream about. So
Ooh.
you're on the right track.
Yeah, don't worry. Like, just try it out. Even if you break the plugin, we are more than happy to hear what was the problem, what we can improve, because the plugin can't be how it is today because we got so many people trying on it, and then our team was just so excited to making animation a lot easier than, I don't know, probably like 10 years ago when I tried After Effects, and I feel a bit like, oh my god, like a lot of oh my god. Yeah, just reach out to us. Okay, I think I'm just gonna move to the next one, if that's okay. How long? Sorry, another question. SVG layered group want mask. How to do if we have multiple group SVG to be masked? Yamin probably can help to go to her file.
Yes, I am on the file right now.
Okay. Yeah, and Catherine, we have James has been generous. He's giving us until Monday the 2nd. Thanks, James. So don't worry. And until Monday the 2nd, you can tag any of us, Yamin, James, Salsi, or Ken. We're going to be sent by and just answer your question if there are any. Okay, the next one. So we move the object that was masked, which are the waves, 2 waves, right? Like right to left and then left to right. And then now we're going to move the masking instead of the object that is masked. How are we going to do that? You can just copy these 3 items. We have the eyes, we have this arch rectangle, and then we have this wave, and we're going to do it together. Okay, in the meantime, I'm just going to create a frame and show you how it's going to look like. Okay, just name it as cute goose big eyes. Cute goose big eyes. All right, so we're going to make this. Ready? You guys already copied the visual assets. Okay, this is very, very, very simple. You create your frame because I want it to move from left to right. So your frame can be adjusted according to your need. So if you need animation in 1x1 or like 16x9 or 9x16, like whatever it is, it's up to you. So I'm just gonna make like a rectangle frame right now. And I'm gonna change the background to black. First thing first, oh, sorry. Just gonna copy this shape and place it on the left side of the frame. And then I'm gonna place this wave way to the left. I think this wave is a bit too big, so that I wanna make it a lot smaller. This is good, yeah. So I'm moving it to the right, and then it moves to the left. It doesn't move actually. You just move a little bit, but you're moving the mask instead of the object inside the masking. Okay, so make sure that your wave is covering where your mask gonna move. I want it to move from here to here. So this is good enough. Okay, so we not double click, sorry. We multi-select this and then right click, and then you click use as mask. Okay, we're good with this. And then I wanna put the eyes inside. Just gonna name it. And then I'll copy this, and then from here, because if you're clicking on your frame, it's kind of difficult to get the layer of the mask, right? You will get this keep clicking on this wave, but then you never reach that rectangle on the back. So to do that, I just go to the left and then click on the rectangle and then move the x-axis. So it was 60, I want to move it to, let's say, 300. Okay, I need it to be far right, so let's put it as 400, right? And then we have the eyes, it's the same. I'll put it to 430 more. This is really like up to you, like the way you move things. Like you're probably more comfortable in using your mouse and move it around, but for me, if the object moves linear, I would prefer to play with the x and y value, because it's it wouldn't mess up with my other objects. But it really depends on your workflow and what you prefer. Okay, so now we have this ready, and then we click on the prototype again, not the object, but we click from the frame to frame. Okay, and I want it to be, let's use custom Bezier. Ooh, that's LottieFiles logo. Let's put it to 800 maybe. I'll put it as ghost copy, and then let's run the plugin. If I find it at the end, it's not Okay, ghost copy is here. So now you're using a different type of masking so you move the mask itself and then let the object, like for instance in this case the wave stays at where it is. So you can also do that. It really depends on the animation, and I think this is a great feature to use if you're working on like a very big like brand animation that uses a lot of shapes, a lot of masking in the shape. This will be a great feature to use. Oh, Mahnas, how did you move the ghost to the right? Yeah, so I will repeat it again, don't worry. So this is gonna happen. My noodle is coming out. I'm gonna delete it. So to move the ghost to the right, this is my second frame. I wanna see what layers do I have in my second screen. So the problem usually when you want to move the masking is that when you click on the frame and click on the object, what you are clicking is actually the wave, not the ghost shape, right? Don't worry, just head to the left tab and then click on the rectangle. This is where the masking is. Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah, anyway, I was just gonna continue. But from here, you can play with the X value. So that's where you can move, like you wanna move it up, you wanna move it down. It really depends on your animation. But in this case, we move it to the right. So I'm moving the adding the X value to 320 so that it moves to the right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, and then you move the eyes as well. Any questions so far? I'm just gonna show another mask example that you probably gonna use in your UI design. So for instance, you need like a globe animation. This is very, very simple. It's the same thing. If we mask the wave previously, in this one, we are masking the earth. So this path is masked by the circle. And then what you can just create a prototype, and let me show you how it looked like. And you already have your globe rotating. So that's the first other mask example. And another one is, let's say we have an app as a reminder for you to drink water every hour, for instance. And then we have this glass of water, where it is. It's the same principle, exactly the same. It's just the shape of the mask is different. It's in the shape of a glass, but it's exactly different. The same principle with the aqua track that we just did earlier. It's the same wave, yeah. And Yamin had this fun stroke buttons. Yeah, so for this type of animation, it's kind of fun to have it in your UI. So if you need people to have an interaction to your UI, you can apply the interactivity where people hover and then it animates. So that's kind of where this can be used for. And then lastly here is you can even play crazy with your text. Yeah. So Yamin did a crazy animation on the loading text. So you can have it as, if I go back to the design tab, if you inspect it from here, we are using Montserrat Black, which is a different type width with this. This is Montserrat Regular. So if you're using the same family, same font family, and then playing with its weight, you can get this these effects of the animation, because LottieFiles plugin also supports text as well, as long as they are from the same family. Yeah. Or you can also create like you can also create outline of the existing text and then play around with it, like distort it or like making it squashy or expanded. That could also work. All right. Ready for the next one? Yeah, stay hydrated. Okay. Yamin, can you help? I think Jansen is finding needs some help.
All right. Let me find you on. Yeah. Let's find you on there. All right.
Okay. All right. Next one, multivariant component. Don't get stressed or scared because it's not as complicated as the name. Okay. So we already have the prototype. In this case, I already have the prototype of this cabin. So if you click on the prototype tab, we already have these two flow, cabin 11 and yellow background. What is this actually, the multivariant component? So as we progress, as our plugin progress, we want to cater more and more complex animation with more control that can be tweaked by the user. So with multivariant components, it allows you to have multiple animation in one frame, and it allows you to control the speed of each of these element to be different. Because for instance, I want to have a background, this yellow background, and then this cabin house moving in a different way, and also in a different speed. So instead of having them together in one frame, I'll separate them into two different animation. First is the background, and then the second is the cabin animation. Also, the tips that this gonna be useful is that when you're implementing this animation for not just one device. So for instance, for your web, you would want this yellow background maybe like really big. So in that case, it's really easy for you to just adjust your frame size and then export it as a Lottie instead of having them both in one animation so that you have to like recreate it again, right? So those are the benefits of using this. So how do we do that? First thing first, we convert into component set after we have the prototypes. So we already have our prototypes here. So you can just copy these two and follow me along. Yeah, make sure it's cabin 11 and yellow background, and then we're gonna do it together. Okay. Be careful of this noodle and spaghetti and wire. I'm just gonna delete this because you don't want this to connect to your frame. Right? Again. Okay, so what we need to do right now is that we click on these 3 frames and then go on the design tab, not on the prototype. And then we click on these 3 dots, create component set, not a multiple components, but component set. All right, so that, oh, okay, Fliss, you're still copying. Let me redo it. Okay. All good? Has anyone copied these 2? I'm just gonna move it up, copy it up. Yeah, you guys can take it from the one on the top while I can explain using this one. Oh, all right. So we have this cabin 11 prototype, and then we have this yellow background, right? So what we need to do is that we select all cabin 11 frames, which is this, and this, and then go back to the design tab, not on the prototype, and then we need to click on this 3 meatball and click on create component set. Okay, and then same thing with this with the yellow background. I'm gonna click on both and then create component set. Okay, we're already done with step 1. That's it. Don't worry. Step 2 is to create a frame and combine your animation. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create a frame over here. Let's say it's 1000 to 1000, and then I'll just say cabin combine. What I can do is that I just need to copy the first frame of the cabin to this new frame. Think of it as like a pre-com of your animation if you're used to After Effects. And then select on this first frame of yellow background and place it also into the frame. I want this yellow background to be on the back, and maybe just like this, it down a little bit. Okay, so what we need to do right now is select this frame and then add a flow starting point. To do that, you need to move to the prototype tab, and then you already have this flow starting point. It's called cabin 11. I'll just change the name again because it's the same name with the previous one. Okay, so ensure that this frame already have the flow starting point. If you don't, when you click on the frame, you just need to click on here, flow starting point plus. That's it, and you can change the name. Okay, so now we run the plugin and then we find the cabin combine, and you have your animation. Like it's a combination of those both like 2 different prototype, and you combine it in one frame. And of course, like you can, how if I want to change, like let's say the house is moving too slow, I want it to be faster. You can actually do it right away and then refresh this so that the plugin will read it immediately. Okay, so that's it. And we have small tricks. You can also mix multivariant with prototypes as well. So for instance, that you already have multivariant over here, and then you want to create a new prototype based on this, you can do that as well. But yeah, it really depends on what you need. Okay, so we have the examples of this full animation called Cabin in the Wood. It's the same animation. we just created like two more elements, which is the wave on the back and then the sun. So you can see over here is where is the cabin in the wood? So yeah, you see the animation contains three different animation, which is the cabin and then the wave and then the sun. So you can copy this file and then try it by yourself by making it prototype, string it with your noodle and spaghetti, and then create a new frame and then combine them together. And we want to show you as well what is the other use case for this, right? It's usually for animation that it's quite illustrative, so it has a lot of elements, and then that elements it's like you're playing with the depth of it. Like some of it are on the back and then some of it are at the front. So in that case, using a multivariant is the most suitable approach for the animation. So we're going to show you another example of this delivery UI. So we have 4 different components over here. We have the driver, we have the dust, we have the house, and we have the grass. So this really gonna help you to define how fast you want it to be, and then how it's moving. Each of these elements. I'm gonna show you. And yeah, feel free to copy and then just try it out yourself. Another examples like what we showed, what we mentioned earlier, that if you combine your component and then you want to create a new prototype out of it, yes, you can. This is what Yamin did with his UFO. Let's go back and then go to the alien one, see if I can find it. Oh gosh, I think we have like, I don't know, 400 flows over here. Wait, alien one, I think it should be on the top. Yeah. So yeah, you can do more advanced animation like this. Create your component, have a different set of visuals, and then create a prototype again. That also works. And with this one, 7. Yeah, with this cute ghost. So instead of applying one wave on this ghost, we applied 2 waves so that you have that layering of cute little fringe underneath. Okay, I'm gonna give like 2-3 minutes for everyone to try out. So if you wanna ask anything, just drop your question directly on Figma. Tag us, Celsi, James, or Yamin, or Ken, or you can tag 4 of us. It's fine. Or you can put it in the Q&A section in this Figma chat. While everyone is trying out, I'm just gonna go to very quickly to tips, tricks, and best practices. I think James already put it up a couple of times. Ensure all frames contains the same order and layer names for smoother animations. And if you don't want to expect error, because our plugin reads it that way. And the second thing is same number of color stock for gradients animation. So if you're using gradient, even though the color appear as though it's only fill, and then the second frame is showing gradient, the first one doesn't mean it's fill. Usually it's also a gradient, but it's using the same color so that it appears as a flat color. So number of gradients color stop is important to maintain the same from the first to the end. And use after delay function for longer duration. So if you want to have a longer duration on the first frame before the animation actually starts, or like before it loops again, you can use the after delay. And the bigger number of the millisecond that you put, your animation is going to be slower, and vice versa. And use custom animation graph for more precise control of easing. If you are very familiar with the Bezier curve, like what Yamin already showed, then that's kind of easy for you to use to control your easing. Okay, I think that's it. And I'm going to hand it over to Yamin. He's going to show us on the implementation side of it.
All right.
Yamin, over to you.
We actually have a couple of questions in the chat. Let's answer those
Yeah.
first before we move on.
Manaj, so let me see if I can find you. Why? Okay.
Okay, so I think we got a question from Catherine. Always use component set. Why? Because as a component set, it reads the visual as a one setup. That's where you can copy that. That's why you can only copy one of the visual, and then it will read it as an animation. That was the reason. You want to
Manaj,
add anything, Yamin?
no, I mean, Manaj, I think your animation works. Is there any? Oh wait, can it? Okay, can it? Okay. Ken is doing his magic. Okay, Ken can explain maybe probably later what he did. But yeah, I mean, I see that the animation works from my side. Is there any other questions? I think Manas, I think yeah, so Ken is kind of helping out.
Thanks, Ken.
Catherine, so for component set, so there's a small difference between what is a component set and what is a component. Just give you an idea. See if I can find an example. So, also components are like you can probably put it in that way, Kayla. So basically, the reason why we make it as component set is because it's kind of like a related component grouped together, and you only get to see one, like because so you kind of we kind of using component sets to actually combine it, like Celsius said, into a single pre-composite animation. A components are like reusable multiple elements that you have that you can actually grab, put it back inside your Figma file for design. um, there are multiple use cases on a design side for both. But when it comes to the plugin that we built on top of Figma, we use component sets to kind of convert an existing prototype into a like a pre-composite animation you can keep adding into a single frame to create like multiple frames. I have an issue with my test slime animation. So can I share screen? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was typing for
No, no
Kayla.
problem. All right, Natalia, let me see where you are. Where are you? I'm not able to find you. Are you here? There you are. You're having problems with your slime. All right, let's see what the problem is. Eyes too. All right, okay, all this looks fine. Natalia, have you like connected like in the frames? All right, let's see. 3, 4. There we go. Maybe in the chat what you want to achieve with the entire thing, and maybe either Ken or Celsi can jump in to help you out. Because just for the interest of time, I think I'm just gonna move on, and I'm just gonna show you guys some cool stuff. One thing that I think I already told this person I'm gonna answer this question before I move on. So where are you? Yes, there you go. So the way that you actually put in the mask in this situation is you just go here, see the rectangle. You can use this as a mask. This is as a mask, and you can actually move the shape upwards, and then try moving the shape left to right, so it can make that animation. All right. So another cool stuff, right? The important stuff. Um, in every workshop that we do, we love to help you guys out to let you guys know how you can actually talk to your devs. A lot of times, and the reason why LottieFiles exists and what we do very well is that we not only help designers create motion, but we also help you guys out to talk to your devs and do a very good handoff so that you become a dev's best friend forever, BFF. So let's go here, right? So I already grabbed one animation. I already grabbed I think Darius. Yeah, I think I grabbed your animation, and I've kind of already exported it out to my workspace. There are multiple ways you can actually hand off the animation to your devs in LottieFiles. And what we believe is that there's no one right way. There should be multiple ways and multiple angles that you can actually look at while you hand off the file. By the way, congrats, Terry. I really like this one. James, please take note. Well, I actually move on from this. Um, so, so how do you actually hand it off to your dev, right? So, if you are a very hardcore Figma user, and if you are looking at handing off that file to your dev, if you are on an enterprise plan, for example, what you can actually do is, let's say I have this prototype here already ready. I'm done. My dev's like ready, and I need to add the animation. You can actually add the animation to your workspace. Um, just as a note, Figma doesn't natively support Lottie, but they do allow you to add as a GIF. Um, but does this mean that your animation, when your dev picks up the file, is going to look bad? No, let me tell you why. So you on Figma, you can actually add it as a GIF. Size doesn't matter, but I know a lot of designers love to edit it large because you don't want your animation to have any bad pixels, but let's say add it as a medium file for now. All right, so once you add the file, what our plugin does, okay, let me just add this in here. What our plugin does is it adds metadata from our website, from our platform into the animation. And what this means is that, let's say I get ready for dev. So on dev mode, say if you are 100% on Figma, your entire company uses Figma, entire team uses Figma. So once you add from the the plugin or the design mode, if you hand off to your dev, the dev can actually pick it up. You have a plugin for LottieFiles for Figma dev mode. You can just click the animation. All right, oh, sorry, done. You can click the animation, and it would give you every single way that you can actually hand off the animation to your developer. Like even the developer can come in, he can pick it up, everything as well. Basically, asset links, base you can actually embed the file, like if you're web HTML or embed everything's there. We give you the scripts as well. And we have like basic settings you can even do as well. Let's say you the dev just wants to pick it up as an autoplay animation, you can pick it up, do basic interactivity, um, and you can just grab the link. Let's say I'm just going to get this web HTML link here. Let's go here, maybe let's go to CodePen, show you guys out, and yeah, there you go. So that's how easy it is. We provide the codes and everything, and you can actually hand off the file. So this is what you do if you guys are on an enterprise from the Figma on a paid plan. If you have access to dev mode, you can also do this. Now, the question is, of course, if you don't have access to dev mode, how does my motion workflow look like with LottieFiles? Now, you might be using something else, but don't worry, we got you covered there as well. So I'm going to use the same animation. I'm going to grab this. All right, so it's already done. I'm happy with this animation. I can actually export it out. I can go to my LottieFiles workspace, which is here. So welcome to the LottieFiles workspace. So this is something we built for teams. Every time that we approach anyone, they'll be like, is there an easier way that I can actually, store all of my animations, I can actually use it? And what are the different multiple other ways that I can actually start using my animation? Just give you an idea, this is a shared workspace used by our entire design team. I'm part of the design team, but I am already part of it, me and James, because they love us and we do all these workshops. So you can actually do file storage. You can also arrange all the files. Um, yeah, devs will love it, definitely. You can do like private files, public files for your team. You can also arrange the files as well. And the cool thing is you can arrange everything as well, and then you can go to the animation. Quick history fact: we built the entire platform just as a way you can actually view the file, and we just grown from that for the 5 years. Multiple ways you can actually do a handoff as well, and now you can even play around with colored themes as well. Just as a note, yes, I think you can actually access this file. Whatever, we'll make sure you guys can actually access it. So there are multiple things you can actually test out as well. You can test out different color palettes then as well. And let's say you're working on teams, right? And let's say you are a product designer or you made a motion, but you're working on larger teams. You want to leave a comment. Let's say in this case, I actually, maybe I'll just make a comment to Celsi. Celsi, since you're there on this file, oh, you can't actually access it or anyway. But since on a private file, since it doesn't access it because I haven't added her to it yet. But you can actually make a comment for her to tag her and say, look, I don't like the way the slime is not touching. Maris, don't worry, I will show you that to you as well. All right. So you can even make comments to it, and then I can go back to and check it out. But in this case, since you already done it on Figma, and I don't like how it looks like, there are a couple of things you can also access right now with the platform. One thing you can access is we have now an advanced editor, which is called Lottie Creator. Since I've seen the comment, let's say I've sent to my team and I don't like how it's touching the ground, what I can actually do is I can go here and make simple edits. Like, for example, I can make it touch the ground. All right, maybe rearrange this a little bit as well. And I can actually make this touch the ground. And a keyframe will be automatically added. And now there you go. Now it actually touches the ground before it actually jumps back. All right. One thing to note. So currently we are still on beta. If you guys want to check it out, we are coming with tons of improvements. Hopefully next year we'll release an entire full version of this, but it is available for free. And yeah, so you can actually make that small edits. Like if you want to have like exact things you want to do, from single frame, of course, to multiple frame. Now you can even do even more exact stuff you want to do to your animation. You can do it on Lottie Creator. Now that's not it. Once this is done, I know a lot of people love variables. We kind of have something similar on our platform as well, which we call as theming. So, for example, I've set this up, let's say for like, right, I can actually go through, I can just select this, I can assign a token to it, and let's just get, I'll call it as slime color. Now I can even start theming my animation. And this is the beauty of Lottie. I think someone asked what's the beauty of Lottie. The beauty of Lottie is you are able to store multiple types of animations into one file, and this does that as well. For example, I'm gonna select here. Let me light theme. Let's call this dark, and then I'm gonna have a light theme where this is entire thing is gonna be black. Right? No, sorry. I'll call this a light theme, and okay. Sorry, say this already exists. Let me call this dark. I'm gonna make this entirely white. Maybe this. I'm just gonna go here. All right. So now I have two themes. And again, you can do multiple things. You can change colors for every single element right now. Currently, theming is available only for colors, but we are introducing shapes, scaling, multiple other stuff in the future as well. But if you guys can if you guys can change that as well. So once that's done, I can actually export this animation now. Call it Darius Line. Save it to my private folder, which I don't want any of my teammates to see. And so now a question came up, which was, how do I actually output to Lottie? Good question. So I've added themes, and I can actually now output this out. Like even before I can output it out, but I'll show you how I can actually output it out. So once you're done with your animation, you can go to handoff, click enable asset link, and there are multiple ways you can actually output to as a Lottie. Now, one way is, of course, you can grab the animation from our server and actually play it on multiple ways. You can actually play it out on like any of the tools that you're actually using on Wix. Even if you're using on your own HTML web-based build you're building, you can do that as well. All of these codes are here. You can actually output to Lottie. The other way is, of course, if you're part of the LottieFiles ecosystem, we have multiple plugins. One plugin that I'm kind of want to show you guys is, of course, our framework plugin. So again, we have it for Webflow as well. If you guys are Webflow people, if you guys are like from Figma, we are have that available as well. You can actually go to workspaces. You can go back, and yeah, there are your slime here. Since I now added themes, I can also choose themes as well. Let's say I want to choose this for light theme, and I'll choose a dark theme. Oops, all right, dark. All right, and I can actually insert the animation. Now, what would happen is that if I edit here, now if I choose light mode, dark mode, and I can actually choose. Oops, sorry. I think I chose the wrong animation. Let me. Okay, I'll put this dark and I'll put this light. Sorry, my mistake. I chose the wrong colors. But anyways, you can actually do this so that when you do publish your website out, and when you switch from light mode to dark mode, the animation itself will keep changing from light mode to dark mode based on your user's preference. So you don't need to actually make two animations with just one animation. You can also do multiple color themes to it as well. Now, the final part is, of course, you can also download the animation. You can also download the animation into multiple file formats as well, and you can actually hand off. If you're doing like private server hosting, you can download the animation, send it to your devs, and they can also host it from the private server hosting as well. So multiple ways you can do it, and of course, if you don't like it, if your social media team has MP4, WebMV, MOV, you can do that as well. So you don't need to go back do and recreate that animation. And if you and so theming also does not only exist for color changes. You can also do things like this, like have a theme for different states as well. And just letting you know, we are working on a couple of state machine stuff as well. So these are stuff that are coming in pretty soon. But currently, you can add different colors to different states. This is something that me and Celsi were working on like this week. See what we can actually create like with multiple color themes. We can even do, if you guys want to check it out, what is available, let me just put in the code pen as well. You can even click and you can actually do a couple of very cool stuff with just colors. So that if you go from night, the electricity goes out. Oh, Christmas, hopefully soon, and sun rays, and yeah. And these are the ways that you can actually hand off the file. You can give multiple theme files to your developers, and there are tons of stuff that you can actually achieve. Is there an API to programmatically create animations? Interesting question. We are working on something. It is still on beta. Again, this entire thing is on beta, but if you are interested to check out later, let's just assume this is a person for now. We do have something called Motion Copilot. And let me just give a pretty good prompt. Make this person float like an angel. So we did release this out this year. We're still working on it, trying to figure out what the kinks in the entire tool. But there is not an API, but there is a function where it would check out the shapes and it would actually generate you. Oh, there you go, keyframes. So now, and then we're kind of still working on it, but there is a keyframe generator which would actually help you to create animations on our creation tool. Um, but again, we're still improving it. We're still trying to make it ready for next year, but there are ways you can actually do that as well. Not an API, but a very based on what shape you have, a keyframe generator is currently available on Lottie Creator. But yeah, that's it. You're now done. You have now hand off your animation. Your dev's happy. You're happy. And instead of having, we used to have this one slide where we show like Teletubbies. Like there's one slide where you have the Teletubbies where they show like all these happy Teletubbies, and then of course there is one where you have like the actual product where you have like all the ugly Teletubbies. But yeah, you get the gist of it. But you now are able to actually get the exact design and motion you have from your design file all the way into your production file. Now, just before we end, I know we have 10 more minutes left to get certified for this workshop. On the left side of the panel, you can actually see there is a page called Final Challenge. So, what we want you guys to do, again, if you're not able to find it, if you're near the Figma, go to the left side of the panel. There will be a page called Final Challenge. Um, winter's here, not coming up, but winter's here, and we to get certified. And I think James, what if I have a file? I'll get back to you after this, Manisha. Don't worry. Um, so we want you to create like a winter animation of your choice, and we're not that strict. All we're looking into is if you know the basic foundations, what we taught to you today. If you follow the file, like the basic things that we talked about, like if you have talked about the flight naming convention, yeah, all the elements, and if you're able to create like prototype animation or multi-component animation, we will certify you. And we don't actually accept single frame animations, so it's kind of really easy. And multiple frames will give you a lot of control. So yeah, you get the gist of it. And you can create anything from animated icons, whatever moves that looks cool. Just feel free to create it. And all you have to do is after you're done, oops, let me add a hyperlink here. There we go. So all you have to do is after you're done, you have until 2nd December. James is really generous enough to give you guys until 2nd December, 2059, Calgary time. If you're connecting from another city, please do check your local time. Um, you can submit before 2359, 2nd December, Calgary. The form is pretty simple. So how do you actually fill up the form? So we'll ask you a couple of questions like, right, there we go. Like, what's your name? Provide us a proper name. We did have someone from previous workshop who said XX Pikachu X. Don't put that. You don't want that on your certificate. Make sure you give your right name. And this will be on your certificate. I put myself as Yamin here. And then give us the email that you have used to sign up to LottieFiles.com. Say here, Yamin at Lottie.com. Please do rate the workshop. If you guys really liked us, put it as 5. I hope you guys really love us. If you think that me and Chelsea were pretty bad at explaining, give us a 1. I'm just going to put 5 for now. So this is the most important part. After you're done with creating your animation, go here, right click, copy paste, copy link to selection. Just take this option and you can actually paste the links to section here. We are gonna judge you based. We are gonna provide, and Manisha, I'll get back to you. That's a very good question. I'll get back to that as well. So we are gonna be judging you based on the Figma file that you provide. So don't just provide us a link to the animation. Provide us the Figma file. And there are a couple of other questions that we ask you as well after this, and you can answer that and submit the form. Stuff that you can actually create. So I have some examples here that this is some examples that me and Chelsea created. Um, you can try out multiple things, but please don't resubmit this as your own. I will know if it's my files, or Chelsea will know if it's her files. So please don't do that. These are a couple of artworks that we kind of put in. Feel free to grab anything and just create something new. You don't have to just use this. You can even create your own illustrations. It doesn't have to be just these. Um, for submission of the file, if you want to use your own private Figma file, only one thing: just make sure that we are able to access it and be able to view the file. If you're not able to view the file, we're not able to actually check out the animation. But yeah, just feel free to grab any of these, animate, create something very cool. And yeah, after you're done, we'll check the animation out, and we will certify you. And one thing, I mean, Manisha, I'm just going back to you now. So the beauty of a Lottie file is that you don't need to make it into multiple sizes. So for example, here I can, like, I'm going to use frame as an example. I can just make this one small. Let's say you want your screen to be extra huge. All right, let me just make a new breakpoint, maybe custom one. I don't know, maybe 2,500. Yeah, maybe just this big. Stretch the animation. It's all code. So the beauty of a Lottie, even 4K resolution, a beauty of a Lottie is that it's all code. You don't need to worry about anything else. Yeah. So what happens is that since it's not raster, you don't need to stretch anything from its exact size. A Lottie will keep expanding. You can even make it 6K. It will never be no problem. If you want to make it even smaller with the Lottie file, no problem as well. It's all code. Don't worry. So this anime, just give an idea of how it would look like. Let me see if I can show you. I still have it. Lottie viewer. All right, maybe here. Oh, JSON editor. Let me see if I can find it for you. There's a Lottie JSON. All right, here we go. This is it. All right, here we go. Link to the form. So Alina, the link to the form is here. If you go to the third page, oh, somebody has changed the file name. The link to the form is on the final challenge page. All right. Just give an idea how a Lottie actually looks like. Let me see if I can download. Yeah, just download Lottie JSON. All right. Load. Okay, I'll open a file. Let me just load from a URL. Let me grab the URL. Here we go. So this is a Lottie. Just give you an idea. These are all code. What you're seeing is not all the codes. You're seeing the animation in its viewable format, but all of this is a Lottie in its most raw form. So anytime anything happens, these codes changes based on like 6K, 8K, you name it. You can make it as big as you want to. There's no problem. I hope that answers the question from a technical standpoint. All right. That's it from our side. James, over to you to close it. And yeah, hope you guys hope to see some amazing animations. I still have problem with the last assignment. Can you help me out? All right. Where all right. So if you want to play the animation, yeah, so you have you can go back. Let me see. Where is so if you want to add the house, so different people use a different way. I know Chelsea does it a little bit different way, but for me, what I do is I just go to assets. Let's go to component, say what component 14, and you can just add the animation into your file. And if you want to play it, there you go. Export to Lottie unsuccessful. Michael, let me find you. Let me check it out. Oh yeah. So this is the problem. So as you can see, you have inconsistent number of elements. So you need to make sure that all of the elements which are in each of the frame remains kind of like the same. So it comes back to the point I was thinking I explained a little bit earlier. So right now, so the basic thing that you had to always keep in mind is that say this is frame 1, and I'm gonna call this I'm gonna call this layer 1. Let's call this layer 2, and then one more, which is layer 3. So if in the second frame you decided to add layer 4, this is where the plugin is gonna get confused. So it will keep on searching for layer 4 in frame 1 again, and then we'll go back and forth, back and forth. So when you add a new layer, that's when the problem is happening. So in case for you right now, you have all these different elements here, and then suddenly on frame 2 you have a different set of elements that you have rearranged the elements as well. And on the, I guess, on this frame, it's again a little bit different as well. So it's kind of confusing the plugin. A best practice would be, if you, let's say, if I were to recreate this for you, based on what you currently have, I were to recreate this. What I would do is, I would just I would just play with the opacity so that the layers are still consistent. And I mean, you can probably do it in 5 frames as well if you want to. But add a flow starting point for 5, and there you go. I mean, you can keep adding multiple frames to it as well. The thing that you got to make sure is that you keep all of the frames consistent. So in yours, in the second frame, you kind of have a different set of frames, different layers. So it's kind of confusing the plugin. The best practice is to always make sure that you have the same number of layers in every frame, and to make sure that the naming is consistent in every frame. I hope this helps.
I think a lot of people have questions with like when they're having trouble for the final challenge, how they can reach us.
Tag
So
us.
yeah, you
Tag
can
me.
leave
Yeah.
comment within the file itself, and then we'll just come in and check your animation.
Just put in Yamin or like Celsi, Ken, even James, and we'll jump in to help you out. We're like a remote company, so we're available all the time. I have a question about the difference between a prototype animation. All right, let me show it to you. So a prototype animation would be now this. Any animation which has the noodles or spaghetti we were talking about all day. I'm kind of hungry right now, but yeah. Um, Anything we talked about noodles or spaghetti today, where you actually connect all the frames and you create an animation just by connecting frames. This is a prototype animation. Now, a multi-component animation would be, for example, the ones that we showed you where you can actually combine 2 or 3 animations as a component set and add to a single file. For example, let me just use this to make full rotation. I'll just convert this into a component set. Let me just add like a star here. I'll do a rotation here as well. Prototype into another into another component set. So this would be considered as a multi-component animation. Just gonna add a circle here. Component one. Oops.
I think Natalia is asking the difference between multi-frame animations, where you just connect all frames and export to Lottie, compared to the using prototype. So
A multi-component skill, multi-frame animation. So multi-frame animation is, let's say in this case, right? Let's say my prototype here, prototype I created just now. Let's say I don't add any noodles to it, and I just decide, okay, look, I'm just gonna. I mean, it moves, but I'm just gonna do this, and I just click all the frames and I export it out without making it into a prototype. This is what we call a multi-frame animation. So we don't accept these because you're not actually doing anything like to make it like more controllable. So please avoid this. Instead of that, just prototype it out and put your own touch to the movie, because this is still pretty much a preset that the plugin itself is calculating based on how the shapes are arranged.
we just want you to add a little bit more of a fun factors to your animation.
Yeah, we're already making it pretty easy with single frame and a multiple frame. So just try to put a little bit of flavor to it. That's all I got.
All right, I think we're already 15 minutes past our time. So yeah, if there's any other questions, please leave it in the chat right now. Please add
MP4.
4.
MP4. You can grab an MP4. Download MP4.
MP4.
But it's not a Figma.
Ooh,
Sound effects are so on a dev side you can add sound effects that's available, but it's not available on a design side at the moment. A lot of things are available on the dev side. You can make this rotate around, click cursor. Nothing's available on dev side, but we're trying to actually file of this animation. Actually, I can't share this file. This is actually created by Daria. If Daria is more than happy to share it after the workshop, she can actually give it to you guys. I'm just using it as an example.
And this whole session has been recorded, right, Valeria? So I'm sure she'll be able to share it with you guys if you guys need this session in video file.
Yes, I'm not sure when it's going to be available, but feel free to follow Friends of Figma Calgary on LinkedIn, and there I will be posting. Or if you already follow me on LinkedIn, I'll be posting about it once it's ready. I will be posting it. I will be posting the recording on our YouTube channel. So please feel free to follow us and stay tuned when it's going to be available.
Perfect. Well, we really had a great time, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Hopefully, we'll do something more exciting in the near future. Yeah, so we'll keep you guys posted if there's any other future workshops, and yeah, hopefully we'll get to see you again.
Yeah, and
Yes.
if you want to have more resources, let me just share one more thing with you guys as well. Our entire team are on this channel. If you guys have any questions, it's called LottieFiles Community. Just feel free to join in. We have tons of other resources as well, tons of other courses you can try out as well. And if you have any events, like even like the event we're having today, well, you can actually find all of our events out here as well. We're doing tons of stuff. So yeah, see you guys there, hopefully. And yeah, we Lottie
Thank
you
you
all.
so much, Yamin. And thanks everyone for joining. And you will be receiving an email to fill out our survey if you really liked this workshop and if you found it useful to you. Please share your feedback to us. It's really important. That help us make the community better. And also, if you have any feedback for the LottieFiles team, I will be passing on to them. And also, they have already shared with you where you can communicate and stay up to date and everything, and so you can contact them. And I just wanted to thank you, James, Yamming, and Celsi. Thank you so much. This was so insightful. I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, I have one more thing. If you want to recommend this workshop to your friend who hasn't attended today, we're going to have another workshop with the Toronto group on December 5th. So yeah, there will be another one next week. It's going to be a hybrid format, so people will join in offsite as well as virtual. So yeah, if you want your friends or any of the other designers to join in and get certified. So yeah, there's another workshop coming up. So just wanted to give you that idea.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, if you can share the link later, I can post it on Friends of Figma Calgary and to my network. So yeah, more people hopefully will join you.
Will do.
Thanks so much. And thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.